Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zone as I get right home with you in the afternoon. Been doing this for about 20 and a half years. April 1st is going to make 21 years. Yeah, April Fool's Day, of course. But anyway, you can still find us on television, Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. And you can also find us on the radio, WZLA, the biggest country station open right here. In Alabama, we're back. So you can find us on channel 182 on Charter Communications, and that's all in Alabama. But we appreciate you guys so much for watching and for listening every chance you get. If you can't find us during the hours we are live, you can go in ahead and find us another way, and that's through facebook.com/DFiesel. You can watch and listen anytime you want to that way. But thank you so much for watching. Continue sending email. Chuck and Mary Lynn can tell you that just absolutely makes my day. Donna at donnasedge.com, Donna at donnasedge.com. We've got some questions for Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey. They're with Alabama Fair Tax. And we'll get started with those questions a little bit later on in the program. But continue sending those questions. I know you guys are really intrigued about fair tax. So Chuck and Mary Lynn, go on ahead and take the show. And what's happening in the state of Alabama? Are you guys going to beat South Carolina?
Yeah.
We hope so.
Start off, there's only one book left. So this should be the grand finale for books until we find some more. So
they've got to be reprinted. I wish we could get them to put some new ones out because they're hard to find now.
So whoever the lucky guy is today, they'll be the last one for a while.
And not only that, the ones that are left are getting really expensive. So
yeah. And that costs money in shipping too.
That's
but
true.
Let me ask you this: is there something online, maybe in a PDF form or something like that you could find?
Yes.
On fairtax.org, they have all the basic studies and everything. And you go to the first page of the fairtax.org, down to the bottom, they've got white papers listed by category. So you can go in there and find out more stuff than you ever want to know about the fair tax.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me you can get it free anytime you want to, basically. Yeah. It's right there. Well, then let's not do anymore. I mean, everybody wins this way. Everybody who's listening can win.
Well, the book, The Fair Tax, the Truth, the red one here, you can get on Audible also. And if you're a new member, you can get it free just by signing up. So just go to Audible and ask for it. And we love Audible. I mean, I would do a commercial for them.
What's his name? Bortz. Neil Bortz is the one that narrates the book because it's his book. So he does an excellent job on it, and it's kind of fun to listen to.
Yeah,
you also learn about fair tax.
He's a former radio talk show host from Alabama, and I'm sorry, from Atlanta. I've lived in Alabama too long, but he is very entertaining. He's very funny, and the book is really enjoyable. It takes about 3 hours. We took a trip to North Carolina and listened to it on the way, and it filled the whole time.
Yeah, it's amazing the things that you can find. I'd go with a website, but I'm going to tell you another one is on YouTube, and it's former Governor Mike Huckabee, and nobody puts it any plainer than he does. No, I mean, he slaps it out there.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. What is that?
It's my phone. I didn't turn my phone off. It'll go away.
Okay, let's talk the state of Alabama. What's happening there? Are there folks running for office? Who in the state of Alabama? Who do people need to vote for who are leaning towards fair tax?
Well, you got Barry Moore is running for senator, and he has actually told me that he would carry the bill in the Senate. He'd be the rebirth of the bill in the Senate when he wins. So that's a good deal. And at the state level, Dale Strong is a co-sponsor in the House, and so is Gary Palmer. And so we work on new people as they come in and try to get them to sign our pledge. Now we've talked as far as the Alabama Economic Freedom Act is concerned, and that's our Alabama fair tax. We keep talking to these candidates come through here and try to get them convinced that they need to, if they're not in a position like lieutenant governor or somebody like that, not in a position to vote, they're at least in a position where they can influence what the vote comes out to be. So that's the kind of activity we've got going on now.
Yeah, we have a candidate running in the 10th district, Aaron Thomas. Likes the fair tax, is willing. It said he would co-sponsor it if he is elected. Currently, Barry Moore is a co-sponsor, and he's the one who's running for the Senate now. So,
and believe it or not, Mo Brooks is running for the 20th district here against James Lomax.
Yeah, and
he told me if he wins, he would carry the bill in the House. So
in the state house. So yeah, it's. I think Barry Moore has had a run-in with the income tax, just like you did with
IRS.
with the IRS, and he's convinced that the fair tax is the way we need to go. So, he's a good guy, and I really hope that we can get more people. But right now, we're in flux because we're not in the we haven't really gotten a candidate yet.
Yeah. They're real busy with the running for office this time around, and they're also real interested in not making the big mistake, So nothing's going to happen this year, but our thrust is to get Tommy Tuberville involved in this, and because he keeps talking about wanting to get rid of the IRS, so he would want to get rid of the Aldor income tax division as well.
I can't see any other way he can do it other than he goes with fair tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's also against property taxes. So,
we've heard that. We haven't actually
I've read that.
Okay.
We haven't spoken to him, but I've read that. So he's tending in the right direction, but then it came out yesterday that he's really, I guess, being supported by the Alabama Power Company, and they're not in the good graces of the people of Alabama right now.
Oh, I want to tell you something. This is going to tick off all my Alabama friends. They won't be mad at me, but they're going to be mad at officials in charge in Alabama. So we were living in a 2,000 square foot house in Alabama. I was freezing to death constantly. Our power bills, excuse me, in the wintertime were always around $600 to $700 a month.
Oh, that's awful.
That was terrible. That was in DeKalb County, Alabama. Okay, if that tells you anything whatsoever.
Yeah.
Here, the house is 3,000 square feet. You know what our power bills are a month now?
50.
They don't get any higher than $400 a month.
Oh, okay, that still sounds high to me.
For a bigger house.
Yeah.
I mean, it is too high. It really is.
Yeah.
But there are months in the summertime, and Phil keeps it so cold in here you could hang meat. For some reason, in the summertime, it's just a little bit over $100 a month.
Yeah.
So a good average for us is about $200 a month for power bills.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pointing toward the heating system. Yeah, we changed we had to change ours out for the third time since we've been here. We got one of those super efficient jobs, and I'm telling you, it doesn't.
Especially during the summer. But it's gas heat. So do you have gas or electric?
Electric.
Okay. Yeah. So that's
the difference.
Yeah, I actually prefer electric, although gas is much less expensive.
It's a little cleaner.
Yeah, and it's not so dry. That's the thing that bothers me is the humidity.
And that brings us to property taxes.
Well, and the several states are looking at this right now, but now I want to know what the difference between looking at something is and actually digging in and doing something about it.
Well, I think I've got the list of states here, and believe it or not, we've got Florida, North Dakota, Texas, Indiana, Georgia, and Kansas are all proposing to get rid of it.
Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina's not in there.
But South Carolina is.
Yeah, South. No, I don't see them either.
Not on the list that we have, but
those things are being updated every day. This is about a week or two old. So,
and Tennessee really needs to look at it too.
And anyway, they have all these different schemes, and that's just really great. And if they would take the fair tax and get rid of it totally and just replace it with a 2-cent tax on everything you buy, which is not going to hurt anybody's pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
You get rid of all those property taxes, and people will be able to own their businesses and their houses and everything without having to pay exorbitant property taxes.
Well, with the way our bill is written, it eliminates all of the total cost of the tax, the sales tax or the consumption tax is less in most cases than the current sales tax is. So we could actually fund the government and get rid of a lot of government too, because if you're not collecting taxes, here, there, and everywhere, and having exemptions here, there, and everywhere, you're going to cut down on the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And
the reason why it's hard to get rid of is because you've got something like 510 different entities in the state of Alabama. That'd be all the cities and counties and everything, the government. And every one of them will come back at you and say, you better not take my money away from me because I've got to have that money to pay for my schools and my roads and all that. And I say, well, that's great. You're going to have a big pot of money and everybody's going to get their piece of that glob, and it's going to be a lot more than you can collect the way you're collecting it. So, and you get rid of all of the paperwork and everything you have to go through now to go out and collect property taxes and beat people over the head and make them pay it. All that goes away because when I buy something at the state level, I would pay about a 2% tax on everything, and I pay for everybody gets away from having to pay for their property tax.
And actually, that's just I guess when we had the first study done, we were told that the property taxes could be paid with 1 cent.
No, I made a mistake on it. The first one said right about 2% would replace all property taxes in the state.
But the thing is, it's revenue neutral. So each entity would get the same amount of money. It just would be the money would come from a different direction
without all the paperwork.
And you don't have to.
Bureaucracy.
Exactly. You don't have to write a check once a year for your property tax. You don't have to your income.
You have to save receipts and go through
exactly.
all that.
And to me, that's the biggest thing, because when you pay your tax, it's done. You don't have to go and keep track of where you spent money and where you put tax.
In other words, when you buy that bubble gum and you pay that 2 cents on a dollar's worth of bubble gum, you've paid your property tax.
There you go. And this is something else, because we've always been told that they'll only go back to audit you 7 years. That's not true. They will go back further than that. We have a storage area, boxes and boxes of income tax stuff, where we've had the taxes done, receipts, all that kind of stuff. We're afraid to throw anything away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we had in the hole for over $10,000 on something that we already took care of back in like 15 years ago.
Yes. And with the income tax, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Mm-hmm.
So you unless you have that receipt, you're going to have to pay it again.
And the key thing with the fair tax or the I'm going to call it AFA because that's Alabama Economic Freedom Act. That's pretty hard to say. Anyway, with the fair tax and AFA, you don't have to keep up with anything. You just pay your taxes and you're done with it. But
you're done. You don't have to think about it anymore. And that's why that way people can just run their businesses. They can run their households. They can think of their kids coming in. All these different things you can do. Guys, we're a little bit past the break. Let's go into a commercial break. Then we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. Y'all hang in there. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan. What's up? I made you something. Oh, thank you. And I got something for you. You grew these? Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Good afternoon, Sunshine. Your Realtor Moment is brought to you by Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams of Greenwood, helping families buy and sell with confidence right here in the Lakelands. Now, if you're thinking about selling, don't automatically start renovating. Many sellers overspend on updates buyers don't even value. So before you touch a thing, talk with your local market expert who knows exactly what buyers are looking for right now. Jenny can help you price it, prep it smart, and market it professionally across multiple platforms. For a free consultation, call Jenny Ferguson today and let your next move be your best move. Thank you so much for watching your Realtor Moment, brought to you by Jenny Ferguson with Keller Williams of Greenwood, helping families buy and sell with confidence right here in the Lakelands. Have a super duper awesome blessed day. Okay, folks, we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Thank you again so much for watching. We definitely appreciate that. We want to get the news out to you because you know what? It really matters. You know, and you got to be able to trust us. We're going to tell you the truth about things. That's why we always have a segment with Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey. And they're with Fair Tax, Alabama Fair Tax. And so we've been getting into some discussions. Nobody likes taxes. Even a little kid, you can say something about taxes. They go, Mommy, is that a dirty word? Yes, it most certainly is. And I just have to tell you, I'm one of those, I would be happier paying taxes if it wasn't wasted. I don't like hearing that somebody gets to take 50 people with them to Italy and they dine off of caviar and champagne. That does not make me happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you know, something that you mentioned that just occurred to me is just think of the storage space. Some people have to buy storage space. If you have to keep all that stuff, you won't have to keep those receipts anymore. So you just think you'll have a new closet.
Well, I would rather have something else for that space at my house here. I could do other things instead of keeping boxes and boxes and boxes of tax stuff.
Yes, and then if you ever have to look for the receipt, set aside several days, because unless you keep track of your receipts better than we do.
Well, Phil does. He's Mr. Organization. I mean, he's Mr. It's kept right. It's kept in divided folders and all that kind of stuff in a particular box with the year on it. I'm just saying I don't need something I could put something else in that space,
Exactly.
food supply or something.
Yeah. One other thing too is when we were mentioning the 2 cents on property tax, consider, and again, what we have come up with the studies so far, we need to have a new study done because the last one was done about 5 years ago, I think. But it didn't change from the first time we had the study done to the second time. It was
just point
a fraction of a cent. But and
another thing I found, there are several states have been looking at this, and if you look at that study that just came out from the White House talking about taxes at the state level, all the sales taxes round out at about 6 to 7%. It's kind of amazing. It's kind of a natural number for doing things that government has to do in the state. So I feel for our number would be the state sale consumption tax would be 6.5%, and then each county and city would have a little bit to add on, but it'd be a lot less than what it is now with all the income tax and everything you have to pay. But the point is, it's kind of a natural number that occurs over the United States, that right around 6 to 6.5% is the amount of money that a state or a locality or whatever needs to fund their government.
Well, let me ask you another question. This pertains to property taxes as well. So, people who own extra properties, they live in one, they homestead it, and then they have other properties out there, and they pay rent. People pay them rent in order to live in the homes or their businesses. They can do that as well. But aren't you kind of being like paying okay, so I own, let's say, a piece of property, and I'm renting it out for $500 a month. I'm just throwing that figure out there. If you can get $500 now for a rental place, you're doing good. It's going to be a rundown shack in a terrible neighborhood if you get $500 nowadays. But the point is that people don't understand the property owner, they're paying taxes. So let me ask you this, which I think I love this idea you just talked about. Okay, so I own this property. I'm having to pay taxes on it. Someone illegal could be living in it. They're paying taxes on nothing. Okay, someone from the United States is paying taxes on, if they have a job, they're paying taxes. The point is I like this system because if you're illegal and you're paying, in essence, you're paying tax as well.
Yes, if you're for the Alabama fair tax, if you're visiting the state, you pay the tax, but you aren't eligible for the prebate. And that was the point I was trying to get to earlier, is that when you pay your taxes, if you're paying less than the current sales tax, plus if you apply for it every month, you get a rebate on taxes up to the poverty level, so you're even paying less. But the way that can happen is because you're cutting down on the bureaucracy, for one thing. You're cutting down on the paperwork, because if we don't have to file those taxes, the state doesn't have to deal with them. The only time the state deals with auditing is at the retail level. So and also you don't pay taxes if you have a garage sale. I know that most people probably don't pay taxes at their garage sales, but you can get caught not doing that, and there's no tax on used goods, so you can buy used, and the tax is already incorporated in the cost of that item, so you don't have to pay it again. There's no more double taxation. Plus,
but don't try to sell new stuff at a garage sale, or you'll get thrown in jail.
Yeah, who'd want to anyway?
Well,
I mean. Yeah, well,
there are people who do.
Somebody would do that.
Christmas.
Well, go to New York, because the people that steal from the stores sell that stuff out on the street.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's an industry.
Yeah, it really is, and Etsy and what's the other one? eBay. Yeah, I think there are an awful lot of people who do buy goods or get goods at a reduced price and then sell them. Yeah,
you had to wonder, is they really good prices? Why is it such a good price? Well, it's probably because they stole it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But buying stuff like that, I would wonder about serial numbers. am I going to be the one that gets in trouble because I bought it and then maybe a serial, like on the power saw or something, like if it has a serial number and it's been, you just have to wonder about those things that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be one way to do it. Now we've been talking about the states that are proposing property tax reducing or getting rid of. Most of them are just reductions. They're not really getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only one it would get rid of would be our bill, which says we're going to replace it with a different mechanism of collecting it. Plus, it'd be a lot less than what you pay if you hadn't owned the property.
Well, in one way, you're not actually getting rid of the property tax. It's to be being collected a different way. But the other thing about that is, if you own your home, you're not renting it from the state anymore. It belongs to you. So, at whatever stage you are, it is yours.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but there's a guy running for District 4 County Commission down in Tallapoosa County that has submitted a proposal in that county to get rid of the property tax. And it doesn't really get rid of it. It's a different mechanism for paying for it. And he's saying, okay, let's put the property tax that you're going to have to pay in the cost of the house. And so you pay it out of your mortgage. So with his proposal, you get to pay the mortgage percentage on there. Plus you get to pay the property tax anyway. So
you pay the property tax, but
you're paying your house payment, you're paying interest.
Yes, exactly. So you're paying interest on your property tax.
So he must work for a mortgage company. But at any rate,
well, it looks like to me.
It got the writer of this article I'm looking at to thinking, and he pointed out that it just boils down that property taxes are immoral, and that we cannot we can't meet the biblical meaning of being free and owning property and stuff if you have to pay the government for your taxes.
Sometimes these politicians go around it another way. They'll say, well, if you're a senior citizen, I'm going to propose if you're a senior citizen, you're not going to have to pay the taxes. That's still not right. I mean, it's just, they're going to get another way. I mean, what I want to say, that's what I like about fair tax. It's cut and dry. That's just how it is. There's no other way to get money out of you. Because this is what they'll do. They'll say, well, we won't charge senior citizens. But then they're going to think of a way to go up on the senior citizen another way. That could be through the medicine. It could be through something. They're going to think of another way. You think you're getting a good deal. But by the time the next avenue that they're going to get money out of you is going to be worse than if you just stayed with, just do fair tax and be done with it.
Donna, the politicians always say we're going to tax the man behind the tree. Yeah. And then the next day they're out planting trees. Yeah. So, that's, to use your analogy, it just,
Well, the way this guy put it, he said property rights and property taxes cannot coexist. Property rights and property taxes cannot coexist. You cannot claim to own your own land while the state has a lien on that land year after year. That's the nuts and bolts of it right there.
We actually spoke to a politician about, because getting rid of property taxes has been a big deal for me for a long time now. The property taxes in Alabama are relatively low, but we moved here from Atlanta and they were relatively high. And if you live in Texas, you might have to take a mortgage out on your home in order to pay your taxes. My sister and brother live there, and my sister actually knows people who've done that. So, it is for about over 20 years, I've been wanting to get rid of the property tax. And I have always said, you're renting your home, no matter how much you pay for it, no matter how you pay for it, or if you have the deed, you're still renting. And I mentioned that to a politician. He said, no, you're not renting. It took a little while, but it took a while for him to understand that the state
that person who doesn't understand does not need to be voted in. If you're that ignorant, you do not need to have the office. Guys, we're going to have to call it a day. I can't believe this. It's a fun by. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge. Thank you, Chuck and Marilyn Bailey, for being with me on the show again. And until next time, one more time, how can they find out more information?
fairtax.org or alfairtax.org.
There you go. Let's call it a day. We'll see you guys later.